What's going on YouTube? So you can probably tell by the instantly recognizable profile that this is the OG coupe SUV, the BMW X6. And this stylish SUV has been extensively refreshed for 2024 with all BMW's latest and greatest. So with coupe-like styling, SUV practicality, and over 500 horsepower, let's go ahead and check out this beast. Now, obviously, a big part of this SUV is the performance out on the road, and we will certainly be showing you guys that a little later on in this review. But I want to start off by talking about the exterior design. This has undergone a refresh for 2024 across the entire X6 lineup, and you can really tell that, especially here with this M60 model, because as you can tell, we have a very aggressive front-end design. So we have the updated kidneys in the front. All of this is going to be full blacked out. So dropping down to all the lower areas, you're going to have the full gloss black finish and lots of vent areas to get all the maximum airflow into that 4.4 V8. And then coming over here to the headlights, we do have an updated LED headlight for 2024. As you can see, this has BMW's new Aero signature lights, which also fade in and out with the turn signal indicator, and then you have projector LEDs for both the low and high beam. Now in terms of your wheels, just like any BMW, you have a very wide variety of options on board. We have absolutely gorgeous ones. These are 22-inch alloy wheels. I love the contrast design. I love the big, giant red brake calipers peeking out from behind. And the other thing I really love is this paint color. This is Isle of Man green, and it is absolutely stunning in person. I'm not usually the biggest fan of green colors, but this here just looks absolutely fantastic with all the black accents on board. One of those black accents is at the mirrors. As you can see, nice gloss black finish. These are going to be the M design mirrors, even though this is not the full M model. And of course, it has all the features that you expect to have. Now here at the side is where you really notice this is not an X5, this is an X6. And what does that mean? Well, that means we're going to have a very sporty coupe-like SUV profile. So instead of the more traditional SUV shape of the X5, it kind of slopes off and heads into the rear. And here at the side, it's a very good-looking product, if you ask me. As far as the overall length is about 195 inches, which is very similar to that of the BMW X5, as you would expect. Now moving around here to the rear design, this is where it gets pretty darn wild. Like, I'm talking college spring break wild when it comes to the design, especially if you pick a green color like this. Now, as far as the rear window is concerned, we don't need a rear wiper because it's actually sloped off so much. We also have a blacked out spoiler up here at the top, which really contrasts against the paint color. And our taillights are going to be full LED taillights, and they have a lot more of a wide shape than the X5. They're going to be slender and wider. We do have a slightly updated design for 2024. They're full LED, as you would expect. Then as we drop down to the lower area, we do have a gray finish as well as some body color for the diffuser area. Because we have the M60i, we actually have quad exhaust outlets, and it sounds phenomenal, so we'll go ahead and insert a clip in. I do want to point out, though, the difference between the M60 model and the X6M is you would have round quad exhaust outlets for the X6M competition. Sounds pretty good. And I do also want to point out, for those of you who want to tow with the X6, it's going to be rated at 7,200 pounds, which is a very impressive tow rating. Now, as far as your safety systems are concerned, BMW has updated this area for the 2024 refresh. You're going to get 3 out of your 4 active safety features as standard equipment on the X6 lineup. Additionally, you can option on a driver's assistance professional package that will get you adaptive cruise control, as well as a new highway assist function that allows for hands-free highway driving at speeds of up to 85 miles per hour. Now, this $112,000 example actually does not have that option, surprisingly enough, so we do not have adaptive cruise control. But guys, there's a lovely interior on the inside, so let's go ahead and check that out. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12 and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And and we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
Now it's time to go ahead and hop inside, but first, of course, we'll take a look at the key fob. We do have a smart entry system, obviously. Nice, fully gloss black key fob. It's really nice and sleek. You also have digital key to get inside the vehicle if you prefer to use that. And obviously, just grab behind the handle. That's going to unlock the door. Now, take a look inside the interior. Obviously, it is going to receive all the same refreshed elements that you have probably seen on our channel when we reviewed the X5 sibling. And let's start off by talking about our interior material and color choices. So this is going to come standard with Sense-A-Fin leatherette. This is a very realistic leatherette with stitching and everything, but we don't have that. We actually have the merino leather, which is optional. As you can see, this is a beautiful seat. This is the coffee color, and it looks fantastic with all the stitching and perforations. Very, very comfortable, very adjustable as well. So you have 16 ways of adjustment, including a power thigh extension. We also have available massage and bolsters as well. But let's go ahead and climb inside. And now that we have climbed inside, let's look at the rest of the cabin materials. Obviously, this is going to be a very well executed and luxurious space. I particularly love the leather kind of flowing up across this armrest with the integrated carbon fiber built in. On the M60, you do the carbon fiber. We also have leather along the top through there. All leather dashboard is going to be an option that you can choose, and then we also have more carbon fiber running through there, as well as the ambient lighting and carbon fiber through the center section. But let's go ahead and fire it up with the glass button. Now, one of the biggest things about the big refresh for 2024 are these displays. You have the 12.3-inch display, the 14.9-inch display. This, of course, is the latest BMW design that they've pretty much rolled out across their lineup. Taking a look at the gauge cluster specifically, obviously you're going to have some reconfigurability. We have some M-specific graphics since we have the M60i, and then we also are going to see that same thing apply to the large head-up display. Pulling back to the steering wheel, we have the sport design steering wheel. I really love the color contrast stitching. It is going to be power, tilt and telescoping, and you have the leather covered airbag cover. Now, turning over here to some interior storage bits. Plenty of space for some basic accommodations in there. Coming up to the front, we have our two cup holders. You do also have a wireless phone charging pad up there and a little bit more storage underneath of this piece of carbon fiber. Now, this is also updated for 2024. We have the small kind of nub design shifter is what we like to call it here at Car Confections. That's not a technical term, but that's what we call it. You just pull back for drive, very easy to use. You also have paddle shifters, of course, on the steering wheel, and press up for reverse. When you go into reverse, you will find a available 360-degree camera system. Very crisp, great resolution on this camera, and it has all the cool tricks, including the 3D view. So you can use the little control knob to go through these really nice looking graphics and check out your X6 that's actually rendered in the exact color that it is, and has things like your turn signals that light up when you use them. It's just overall so great in terms of graphics. Of course, press the P for park. You have the electronic parking brake located right behind that, and you have some drive modes that run along the edge. Now, up above, you are going to find a variety of audio systems. This has the up-level Bauer & Wilkins sound system, which is a $3,400 option. It includes these beautiful metal speaker grills and the best sound quality in the entire X6 lineup. Now, one thing you'll notice, especially if you've owned a X6 or X5 in the previous model year, you'll notice that the climate controls are no longer right here. They're actually going to be integrated into the display itself. Now, today's example here is going to be the one that has the updated iDrive 8.5. So we might as well just kind of talk about this all at once. 14.9-inch display, iDrive 8.5 is going to give you some different graphics. A big part of those graphics and layout changes are going to be regarding your climate controls. So as you can see, you've got a different design going on right here. You still make your adjustments in the display itself, but if you press there, you're going to be able to quickly pop up your ventilated seats, your heated seats, and your heated steering wheel right from there instead of having to go into the additional climate menu. You do still have that additional climate menu, but it's also laid out in a way that makes a little bit more sense versus that previous one with like an overwhelming amount of buttons. Now, in terms of the other stuff that you should know about iDrive 8.5, again, the layout is different. So this is going to be your main page. You can swipe over here on the side for the secondary information. All your apps will be located in there. Wireless Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay, built-in navigation. Coming up top here, you do have auto-dimming mirror with 3 HomeLink universal remotes. And then we do also have a panoramic sunroof at the top. It's going to be a little bit smaller, of course, than what you get in the X5. That's just to maintain better headroom in the rear.
And now let's talk about the rear seat area for this BMW X6. Now, like Drew said and kind of alluded to earlier, this is going to have a little bit of a compromised rear seat as compared to a BMW X5. Now, what do I mean by that? Is it a horrible place to spend time? Absolutely not. We're sitting at 35.7 inches of legroom, 37.5 inches of headroom. So for someone who's 5'9" like myself, I like to think of myself as the average adult, which actually backed up by stats, I am the average U.S. size adult. So before you go commenting and calling me short, I have plenty of headroom. You know, it's fine back here. It's just not going to be for the person who's 6'7" in the rear area. You're probably going to be a little bit uncomfortable. The rear legroom is fine as well. This seat is adjusted to Drew, who's 5'8", and I'm sitting at about 6.5 inches of knee space. Now let's go ahead and talk about the features, though, that you're going to get on the X6. Of course, it's going to be loaded with them. You have rear climate vents back here. We also have 4-zone climate controls if you choose the climate package. Heated rear seats as well. Dropping down below that, we do have a little storage cubby, and we have a 12-volt outlet. However, I am noticing we did not get the USB-C ports that the BMW X5 has. However, we have USB-C ports integrated into the rear of the seat backs. Folding down the armrests, we do have some cup holders that pop out as well. Turning to the door trim, we have rear window sunshades. Those are an option on the X6, and a fully leather-covered door trim from top to bottom, beautifully crafted. We have carbon fiber, metal speaker grills, and bottle storage in the very bottom. Now walking up to the tailgate, we do have a standard hands-free power tailgate on the X6. And let's go ahead and see how practical this model is. Now, before I even mention those figures, I do want to talk about the third row option that you can get on the X5. That, of course, is not going to be an option on the X6. It's going to be pretty uncomfortable on the X5, much less with the sloping roof design. You'd have to be about 3 foot tall in order to use that rear seat if we had a third row option. Now, as far as the space is concerned back here, we're sitting at a little under 30 cubic feet behind the second row seats. If we fold those seats down, we're sitting at about 60 cubic feet as a maximum cargo capacity. That's about 12 cubic feet less than a BMW X5 for reference, but not a huge difference overall. Just be aware you're not going to be able to stack things up a ton in this model. Now, I did bring my tape measure so I can measure from the second row of seats to the rear of the cargo area. We're sitting at 41 inches of length, and I've got my tape measure stuck here. See how wide it is. We're also looking at 41 inches wide, so it's a 41 by 41 behind the second row. And if we fold the second row down, BMW actually does not have levers to do that, so I'm going to have to actually go up and fold it manually. So now that I've folded those down, they do fold 40-20-40 split folding, by the way. We are looking at an overall cargo length of 74 inches long, which is pretty okay, that's for sure. Just like I said, keep in mind you're not going to be stacking boxes up really tall because it does have that sloping roof design. We do also have a spare tire on this X6 model. But I'm not going to leave you waiting any longer. Let's go out for a drive. Well, guys, here we are taking off in the BMW X6 M60i. I'm so excited for this drive, so let's go ahead and dive into it. We will be getting stuff like our signature Car Confections sound level reading as well, but first we're going to go ahead and start out with a hard acceleration. See what this V8 is all about.
Oh, dang.
My, oh my.
Well, it's fast. As you probably would expect, because we do have a 4.4 liter twin turbocharged V8 under the hood.
But it's so good.
It's so good. Still not as fast as Big Ultimate Energy, though.
No,
that's the ultimate power
right?
source.
Yeah, we wouldn't have a wouldn't have a chance against that. Wow.
This thing sounds insane.
Holy
too.
crap. Okay. All right. As far as the numbers, 523 horsepower, 553 pound-feet of torque. This thing ain't playing when it's talking about performance, that is for sure. It's good to get this thing to 60 in 4.2 seconds. So really, the cool thing about this M60 model is that you're really not sacrificing much in terms of performance over the X6M competition. Despite it costing $30,000 more than this M60, that model is going to have, yes, more horsepower, 617 horsepower, but the overall 0 to 60 is not going to be that different, 4.2 versus 3.7 seconds. So you're really getting most 90% of the performance of the X6M competition with this M60 without the insane price tag, although it is very expensive, but crazy performance.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get the sound as well, which is perhaps even better than the acceleration.
It is. That wasn't even in sport mode. Oh, and then
listen to the pops and crackles. Oh.
Wow. You absolutely have to love this.
The way
Brutal.
it blasts off those shifts. It says, M competition who?
I mean, we just got out of an X5M competition, like an hour ago. So we remember what it's like.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, I think this M60 is about 90 to 95% of the performance of that. So this is kind of the performance steal for you guys. Now, as far as the other powertrains, you do have the 40i model. That's going to be your standard powertrain affair. That's a 3-liter turbo inline 6. We've driven that in a ton of BMW products in the past. Phenomenal engine. I'm a huge fan of the B58 inline 6-cylinder. So don't get me wrong, I love that powertrain setup, and it does have 375 horsepower, so it's not weak at all either if you just want to go for that standard powertrain option. But if you have the extra dough, this M60 is certainly a fantastic choice.
Now, as far as the transmission is concerned, you do have an 8-speed automatic transmission. That's going to be across the lineup, although, of course, in the performance applications, it is going to be tuned substantially different to do things like that.
Oh my gosh. The noise. Now, you do also have standard all-wheel drive with the BMW X6, which does mean that your fuel economy is going to be coming in at 19 miles a gallon combined with this M60 model. We haven't mentioned this up until this point either. It's now called M60 because we have the mild hybrid system on board with this. So all 2024 X6 models are going to have mild hybrid technology on board. That helps you get better fuel economy. Also improves your auto start-stop. The 40i model is going to have the best fuel economy of the lineup at 24 mpg, which is very good, which is 1 mpg greater than last year. Now, going over those bumps right there does remind me to tell you about the suspension setup that you have on this X6. Of course, you're going to have very advanced suspension settings with this. You do have a standard M suspension on every single X6 model. Additionally, on the M60, you are going to have a few extra special bits, and you have an available air suspension. So all of those together do combine to give you a very good ride quality. Here with the M60, I have been nothing but impressed. You go over a bump, even with the largest 22-inch wheels, it does a great job of soaking it up. I also will say these seats are very comfortable.
Yes, extremely comfortable. And in terms of performance, no matter which version of the X6 you choose, it is going to have, a certain level of BMW German athleticism. You know, these are the ultimate driving machines after all, so they are focused on giving you that type of performance, but still packaging it into something that can be comfortable and everyday livable. Even just driving this around town right now, we're in actually Sport Plus mode. You can tell just how responsive the steering is. It's very fast, and it feels quite agile, even though this is not the smallest SUV. It's got a decent amount of substantial mass, and it does handle its weight very well.
And let's go ahead and do the airball and slam dunk for the refreshed BMW X6. What's our favorite element? What's our least favorite element? Drew, do you want to kick us off with our favorite element about this X6?
Well, this particular one is the 4.4-liter V8. That is obvious. It's just a great engine. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and like we've said throughout this review, I think it's really most of what you get out of the X6M. So I'm honestly a little surprised that BMW made this version as good as it is, because it's almost stepping on the toes of the X6M competition. And as far as the airball is concerned, there's really not a lot to complain about with this X6. However, I will say it is rather silly that a vehicle with a starting price of $93,000 and $112,000 as tested does not have adaptive cruise control. BMW, please just add this as standard equipment, at least on your higher end models. I think that's a bit ridiculous to be driving around a six-figure brand new BMW that does not have adaptive cruise control, that's for sure. And as far as your warranty is concerned, you do have BMW's signature warranty, which is going to be a 4-year, 50,000-mile basic and powertrain warranty. You're also going to have 3 years of complimentary maintenance as well. And let's talk pricing for the BMW X6. Now, all this isn't going to come cheap. You already knew that going into this video. We're starting at $73,900 for the 2024 X6 model. That is for the 40i. If you want the M60, that's going to be plus $20,000. So starting at $93,600. If you want the X6M competition, plus another $30,000 to $127,200 as a starting point. Now, this particular tester, as we've mentioned throughout the review, has a lot of options. So we're $93,000 as a starting price, plus all the options. We're sitting at $112,000 as tested today. Now, if you're looking to buy a BMW X6 or any new vehicle, and you're a smart shopper, the next place you should go to is carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local dealers in your area to get you the best price on that new vehicle. Additionally, it's going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which you can use for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description. And that's going to be all for our in-depth review of the refreshed 2024 BMW X6 M60. If you really enjoyed watching this video, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below if you're not already a part of our Car Confections family. By subscribing, you help give us opportunities like this to come out to Greenville, South Carolina, drive the entire lineup of BMW products. So by subscribing, you play a very pivotal role in getting us invited to those programs. So thank you so much in advance for hitting that subscribe button down below. And if you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.